No, not at all. Jesse, you better not be turning that up. Oh, okay.
It disrupts the audio recording.
Can't hear anything.
Creates a white noise. Effects on the audio. That's reversing.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep, perfect. All right, I've got 5 o'clock. I call the meeting to order today, Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. Roll call, we have Selectman Howdy Goodwin, Eric Eaton, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Manager Jesse Dunbar, and new Town Clerk Sarah Abbott. Is there adoption of agenda? Is there anything anyone would like to change? Approval of minutes. We have the minutes from August 7th and the minutes from August 14th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 7th, 2023.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from August 7th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 14th, 2023.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from August 14th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, approval of warrants. Is this supposed to be different on top? It says FY 24 for the warrant 136. That
yeah.
should be 23, right?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. All right, for FY 23, we have warrant 136 for $60,295.80. And then from FY 24, we have 11 for $14,156.32. Warrant 12 for $13,295.95. 13 for $24,295.31. 14 for $91,447.95. 15 for $13,189.49. 16 for $6,164.56. 17 for $12,457.10. 18 for $273,851.88. 19 for $15,620.96, and warrant 20 for $182,474.39.
I make a motion to approve warrant 136 from fiscal year 23 and warrants 11 through 20 in fiscal year 24.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrant 136 from fiscal year 23 and warrants 11 through 20 for fiscal year 24. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have committee appointments. We have one seat with a term expiring 2026, and this is for the Board of Appeals. We have one seat open on the board, and we have Mike Hayes, who is an alternate, who said he would like to be a full-time position. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yes, so we advertised the position, and we received an application from Patricia Pinkham. And Mike has also, as you said, stated he would be interested in serving as a full-time seat as well.
Okay.
I know Mike's been an alternate for quite a while. Probably thing to do is move him into the full-time position and put Patty as alternate.
Well, do you think Patty would be okay doing the alternate position, or?
Yeah, I don't see that she wouldn't.
I just wanna make sure that we don't cross out.
Right.
You know, we have both seats filled.
Yeah, Mike has been full-time previously.
And then he went back to alternate? Is that why?
And then he was appointed alternate, yeah.
So there's only one empty full term
Yeah.
seat. Full-time. I mean, should we ask Patty if she's okay with alternate before we, or? Go.
Yeah, we can, just to make sure that we don't.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yep.
Don't have anything coming up anytime soon.
We don't need this decision
No.
tonight, okay?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably not a bad idea, just to be sure that we fill
Yeah.
both seats, as long as she's fine with it, then. Okay. So, take no action on that for right now. Next, we have, regular business, the administrative official appointment. Who is that?
Yes, so I have, concluded our search for the town clerk, and I have appointed Sarah Abbott, as the next town clerk for Tremont. We're all pretty excited about it, except for Mark. No. So.
He's never happy.
Sorry,
It's all
Mark.
right. Don't worry about it.
So I would respectfully suggest you confirm my appointment of Sarah Abbott as town clerk, tax collector, deputy treasurer, deputy general assistant administrator, and registrar of voters.
I make a motion to confirm the appointment of Sarah Abbott as town clerk, tax collector, deputy treasurer, deputy general assistant administrator, and registrar of voters, registrar of voters.
Been moved and seconded to confirm the appointment of Sarah Abbott as the town clerk, town tax collector, deputy treasurer, deputy general assistant administrator, and registrar of voters. Is there any discussion? You ready for all this, Sarah?
You got a lot of jobs.
It looks worse on paper.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Yay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. No turning back now.
Yeah.
All right, next we have short-term rental ordinance. The planning board has been working with Noel Mussent to figure out what we could do for a some sort of a licensing ordinance, and thank you guys for pushing it through and getting it done quickly, and it looks good. Do you have anything you wanna give us on it before we discuss it?
I think Noel did a great job in his cover letter here,
Yeah.
detailing the process we went through and the aims of what we were trying to do. And I think I'm speaking for the whole board that we're pretty happy with what we came up with.
Yep. I just wanna, I had a couple of, not questions, but I just wanna clarify that this will be a registration. Basically, someone would sign an affidavit saying that, you know, they have, you know, they make sure that they have all of the safety features in their rental. My only question, I think, was who is going to go out and check them, and do you have anything written up as far as, like, say Mark's fails because you don't have enough fire extinguishers, then do you have 30 days to correct it, 60 days to correct it, or that was my,
There's, in the licensing ordinance, there's no timeline set out in the ordinance. I think
Yep.
that would be something that the code enforcement officer could work out with the applicants.
Yep.
Come back to us when you fix it, and we'll go
Okay.
back out and inspect it.
Yep.
Inspections aren't, always mandatory either, so
Mhm.
the applicant needs to. So, to start off, I just wanna reiterate, we were asked to come up with a short-term rental policy that was a pretty simple process.
Mhm.
So, as you guys all know, short-term rental policies are really tailored to try to be responsive to whatever unique scenarios are happening in the town that you're trying to deal with. And the main goal of this ordinance and any licensing ordinance of this simple nature is really information gathering more than
yeah.
other policies.
Mhm.
And so the hope is that the information that you get will then give you the tools you need to make smart policy choices based on whatever, challenges there are. Obviously, short-term rentals can have a couple of effects on affordability, like taking units off the market or increasing the value of certain homes and units because it's more of a business than just buying things. But we need to decide as a community how that really affects
Mhm. Yep.
other things in that
Yep.
community. So that's really the nature of this one. It's a very, very simple process.
Yep.
Hopefully, I think that the idea, I don't want to speak for the planning board, but the idea was, let's make it easy, and hopefully people will be more voluntarily coming forward with the information that we're looking for, rather than try to make it a little more of a hammer,
Yeah.
where they're gonna resist a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope that 99% of people, I'm sure, there's not gonna be an issue as far as the safety concerns and stuff.
Yeah.
And, so basically it would be more of like on a complaint or not a complaint, but if there was an issue, if the, fire department was called or something and there was an issue, then someone has the right to go out and inspect it and be sure that it's up to par and is safe and.
Maybe
Yep.
the neighbors say,
Yes.
gee, somebody's renting this place and
Yep.
they're not licensed, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep,
I don't think we could foresee that, every place is going to be inspected.
yes,
right?
okay,
So-
yeah, I just wanted to be clear about it, so when we, yep,
Yeah,
no, it
there's-
looks
there's-
good.
There's enforcement provisions in here, that help, with that process,
Mhm.
if you find it in line with what you already do for enforcement. So there's a few checks and balances, but again, a very simple
Mhm.
process. We actually have, a draft application form already, I didn't include it with the stuff I sent you guys,
And it even says inspection shall not be required as a condition of issuing a license, so.
Yep, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you
have
don't-
short-term rentals, and I think it's very reasonable. I mean, I know some of the discussions you had, I was a little concerned it was gonna go a lot further than this, and I think this is very reasonable.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, through our discussions and public input, some of the concerns were, safety,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. I know the fire department's had some issues with, and also septic tanks. So this, limits the number of people that could stay in a certain Airbnb or weekly rental, I should say, yeah.
Yep.
So just so I understand, you don't have to get an inspection before you get your permit?
No.
It's only if you have an issue and some, okay,
Right.
that's what I just want.
The code enforcement officer can inspect, yes, with 24 hours notice, I believe.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you can get a permit without getting an inspection.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I understand.
You're, as the applicant, you're self-verifying that all these things are met.
You've checked,
Mhm.
okay. It's gonna be fun, we don't have a code enforcement.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
Sarah, you need another job?
I still have 2 more tests to take.
She don't, yeah, watch out, she
Don't
won't take the
talk
test
back to
now.
her
Yeah.
yet.
Town clerk, too, what do you want to go
Yeah,
on?
she's, yeah.
Be very nice to her right now, Eric.
Okay.
Okay, I get it.
No, I read through it and I
Yeah.
thought it looked pretty good. It's vague enough where it's, like you said, simple, and I think
Yeah,
that's
I
what we
think-
want.
It's a start, and I think it achieves what you guys ask us to do.
Yeah.
So,
We want to gather information, that's our goal.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this is the,
We need to start somewhere, and I think this is a really good start, it looks good.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to at least say, we're paying attention to safety.
Yeah.
Everything in there's, makes
Mhm.
sense and practical, it's not a big hurdle.
Yeah, no,
Should-
when I
should
looked
be
through
done.
it,
I
it's-
think they do it, I
Yeah.
think most of them do it.
yeah, the question is, when are we gonna vote on it?
I know we should have a public hearing, we always do before anything. What do you need for notice on a public hearing?
Notice the public hearing.
Yeah, as far as.
You can't get this done in November if that's what you're trying to
We can't
do.
do it in November, no, I know.
You're sitting there smiling, like November's not
But I
happening.
know the comp plan is also gonna go before voters in May, so having both issues, I don't know, but. I
Do you
don't
think that'd be
You
confusing?
make those decisions, not me.
Yeah, if you want a big turnout for the comp plan,
Right.
this would be one to pair with it.
Yeah, exactly. I think they kind of go together as well. I think that,
You're gonna pick up voters that want to vote on the comp plan, who don't
Mhm.
care so much about
Other
short-term
things.
rental, and you're gonna pick up the same vice versa.
Yep.
Short-term rental voters who may not have come out specifically for the comp plan.
when was our deadline for November election? I mean,
End of
for-
August, just the
Oh.
very end.
There's
Okay.
not enough time to get.
And
up
we
a
still
public
need to
hearing.
have a public hearing,
Yep.
and then a meeting after it.
So we've got,
Yep,
if you're good with including it on the town meeting ballot, and then we've got plenty of time to
Okay,
take care of it. Public hearings.
okay.
And that would go on a secret ballot, right? Not a.
Well, it's up to you, but yes, I would.
And I think
Yeah.
we should have the public hearing sooner than later, just so if there are any issues that maybe we didn't think
Mhm.
about, or some, gives time to, for the planning, I mean, I don't foresee any, but if there's, it would give a little bit of time to do, it, not wait until last minute, that's
I
all.
agree.
Right.
Yeah,
We have two or four people at the public meeting that we get to, I mean, the more
yeah, exactly, yep.
participation, the better you're
Mhm.
gonna be.
Your required hearing is gonna be closer, you know, in the
Yeah,
spring, but.
Yeah.
you can
What if we did
have
one in October-ish, something like
Right, you
that?
can certainly have one as well.
Yep.
In addition.
Yeah, I would just like to hear, because I know, it seems like we always hear issues, but they're always last second, and then it's,
Right.
well, we don't wanna vote on this because, you know, this is not, I'd rather get it ironed out now than I would wait for the last second. Yep.
So, if it were approved at the May town meeting, I assumed it wouldn't really go into effect until next year then,
Next one,
or in December, January.
Why couldn't we make it
Yeah.
go in effect? Like July?
immediately,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
right after town meeting, is there?
I think that would be an interesting question to ask at the public, if you're doing the public meeting
Okay.
earlier.
Yep.
What I understand is people who have short-term rentals right now are actually renting them already for next year.
yes,
So you wouldn't wanna, you might wanna have some sort of grace period. You could have it
Okay.
be in effect, but yet, you know, we gotta work in some sort of grace period, I think, because by then,
Yep.
people have already booked for the season.
so then everybody has to register, say, January 1.
Or you could say, you know, we could figure something.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it'd be worth
Okay.
asking. So if we were to do a public meeting sooner, I think the questions that you guys are gonna be asked are, aside from this, you know, what do you think the fee structure is gonna look like?
Mhm.
And then do we have an application? So at
Yep.
some point, we'll wanna have a discussion. We have some stuff we can provide that just says, here's some examples of what other people,
Mhm.
other towns have done for fees. And I think, maybe keeping it on the, again, to keep it simple process, then you may wanna consider something on the lower side for fees.
Mhm.
And then if you have like a fines, in your fines section is where you penalize people.
Yes.
You know, so you're not trying to capture resource, you know, money just from this fee, you're actually, if somebody's doing a violation that requires a code officer, they do a lot more work, and then you're capturing that
Mhm.
loss through the fine instead of the fee, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You know, I think the feeling of the board was not to set the fees so high, because we want compliance.
Yes, exactly. Mhm.
So that, I mean, speaking from other towns' experience, that would be the number one question. Can we do this? How are we gonna administer this, and how much is it gonna cost us?
Mhm. So we get to do that part, Mark?
That's your.
What's that?
And so we get to do that part, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
Great.
No, it looks good, but thank you guys for, you know, for the hard work going into it, getting it done quickly, and it looks good.
Yep.
What would you,
Would you like to set a public hearing date for one of your October meetings?
okay, October 16th, I can see it from here, how about that? Isn't that it, right by Howdy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is second and 16th.
Yep, does that sound good, everybody?
Yeah.
Sure.
Good. Do you want a motion on that? Okay.
I make a motion to set a public hearing for October 16 regarding the short-term rental, the proposed short-term rental ordinance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to schedule a public hearing for October 16th for our short-term, or proposed short-term rental ordinance. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Appreciate it.
All right, next we have Versant Power Easement.
Thanks, Tom.
I thought this was all taken care of. Are we gonna make him come out again? Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Bring us the money. So they, They finished their surveys, so the easement now is updated with the actual legal descriptions of the easements, that you previously had authorized. So this is the final document. There's a large copy of the plan there.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see the big copy here, bring it down. Kevin. Yeah. Looks good. Anything we need? Mm.
No, that's good.
Yep. You good? Looks good to me.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you already get his money, Jesse? Oh, you haven't? Okay.
You're supposed to sign first.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, we saw, yeah. Now, who did you make the check out to?
Jesse.
Okay, yeah. Now, thank you for all the patience, and we've gone back and forth with this but
Oh, that's good. We're-
finally it works for everybody, I think, so. it's
We're
good.
very happy. As a matter of fact, we've got most of the engineering done for the groundwork, and,
Mhm.
I know just as soon as, we can get a contractor in there, we're gonna do the
Yep.
groundwork and set some poles, at least for the portable stuff.
Yep,
It'll be a while before we get the transformer. The transformers are really hard to get.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the schedule is, but at least we'll get to the point where we can hook up the temporary stuff.
Yep. Yep, good. Sounds good.
Make a motion to approve and sign the easement between the inhabitants of the town of Tremont and Versant Power for an easement on portion of lot number 33, shown on tax map number 14 for the town of Tremont, and all of lot number 39 on tax map number 14 for the town of Tremont.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve and sign the easement between the inhabitants of the town of Tremont and Versant Power for an easement on the portion of lot number 33 shown on tax map 14 for the town of Tremont, and all lots numbered 39, all of lot number 39 shown on tax map 14 for the town of Tremont. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I better not have your name on it, Jesse.
And then, I'll take it back and,
Yeah. Good with us, Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next we have the FEMA DTA grant. Just just a follow-up discussion to see if anyone had any ideas or, things that they liked about their presentation that they thought we should look into further.
I also have an update. I talked to Heather at Maine Emergency Management today, and confirmed with her that if we want to proceed with any sort of project, but want to get our own bids for the project, if we think the bid from the FEMA contractors is higher than what it should be, we're perfectly within our right to do that. And she said absolutely. So if we think the project can be done for less than the 3.8, you can still apply with your numbers that you get. And the town would pay the 25% share of that. Time frame wise, this grant that they were talking about is this fall, but if you wanna take more time, you know, if you're still interested in the wharf rebuild they're talking about, but aren't ready right now, you can do the next grant round next fall. We have, as she said, until May of 25 for their assistance with any projects and grants. She did confirm that the BCA analysis on the 3.8 million still met FEMA's requirements. So she was confident that we would get funded if we were chosen with that number. So if we can do it for less, it should most certainly meet their requirements, for something at a lesser expense than the 3.8, because it met it that higher expense. Again, we talked about at that meeting the additional projects of Steamboat Wharf, Road, and Crockett Point, and she has sent over the email with a link to all of the grants available to FEMA and the state of Maine that we can review and see if anything between now and May of 25 is something we'd like to explore.
Have you had a chance to skim over that list?
Yeah.
Did you, I know we joked about it, but did you ever mention the wharf house, like if that was an option for anything or not?
We've talked about it, in general,
Mhm.
so they haven't specifically said that this grant would cover it.
Okay.
There may be other ones that.
Yep. Just curious, cause that's something that's kinda right there that we need to take care of.
It wasn't part of the proposed project then?
Correct.
Yeah.
So $3.8 million gets us a new wharf.
What they have, yes, their contractors, engineers.
And I think, I was gonna ask Eric, I mean, just, I know I'm not in the business, but I think that that number is ridiculously high. I think that, to rebuild that pier just higher in elevation, I would think, what, 1.5?
I can't put a number on it
Yeah.
just off the top of my head, but I do think it's high, but it needs to include the parking lot too, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that was the
that's
other
right.
question I was gonna
So-
see,
Yeah.
what happens to the parking lot?
Yeah, I
Can't
wasn't
just-
thinking the parking lot.
If you're gonna
And
go
they
up
have-
2 or 3
in-
feet.
In the proposal, there's definitely
Mhm.
a incline to the wharf.
Yeah,
They're
and
not
that's-
bringing it,
So that's not including the parking lot?
not fully, I mean, it includes some improvements.
Just a
but not-
taper on the, like an apron in front of it.
Not bringing it level with
I don't think
the
it,
wharf.
yeah,
Do
if
you
you're
think it
gonna do
matters?
it, do it both.
Yeah.
Do it
Yeah.
both.
I just think it's, you know, over the top high as far as,
I haven't measured it, but I mean, I could.
Yeah.
I have been looking around at it and probably, I'd say close to half the decking is in pretty hard shape.
yeah.
And, you know, there's good possibility over the next year or so, 2 years, that a truck could potentially go through a decking board. I saw some pretty bad ones. So cross bracing underneath is kinda iffy too. The rest of it's good. But, yeah, I don't know. How much is it worth to, to completely replace? I don't know.
I know,
I'd
and
have
that's,
to put it together, but,
the last section we had done was like 200 and change.
It
So
was-
I just was thinking after, cause my initial thought was no way. And then afterwards, you know, what if the number was substantially lower and we only had to get a third of it? And
I
if we
think the
had-
last section was almost a little over a quarter or a third of it.
Of the dock?
Yeah,
No, that wasn't very big.
maybe a quarter.
Yeah, I'd say a quarter.
So, yeah, 1.5.
That's what I was
You
just
gotta
off the
pull
top of
all
my
that
head,
stuff out too.
Yeah.
Dispose of it and.
Mhm. And I think, but even if you're 1.5, you know, you've gotta, obviously you have to come up with a third, but if we have to do 200,000 or 300,000 anyway, like you're saying, in the near future, then it might not be so bad to look at it.
Yeah, and it'd probably be more than that, because what was repaired before didn't include, hoist and sheathing and fender pylons
Yeah.
and all the extra stuff that
Yeah.
didn't get done, so, yeah. Maybe 2, but,
The, debt service on that repair, I believe retires this November.
Hmm.
So that debt service payment. Will go this year.
and the other thing that the FEMA lady talked about is the grants possibly being able to cover the town's contribution, other grants that could help cover
Mhm.
town contribution,
Yeah.
which is the only way that I think we could ever sell it to the voters.
Mhm.
Grants all the way through, all the way
Yeah.
around, yeah.
Well, at least most of it, because
Yeah.
I mean, we can pitch in some for like what our repairs might be to do it now. That would make it worth doing the repairs or completely rebuilding it, if that number was similar, I think.
Okay.
And it's too bad, the sections, I know Justin was frustrated in the past with all of the, one section's rated for this, one section's this, you can back here, you can't back here technically. I mean, I know we have it posted now, right, so it says you need to be under, but the weight that obviously those trucks have loaded is way over that. And if, you know, if they go across one section, go through, like you said, be a mess.
And the other thing, you're talking that kind of price tag, good grant,
Oh, I know, that's what I've said before, but I think, when Chris was here, do you remember, Howdy, we said he looked into just the permit, just to looking into filling that dock when we had, I think it was that last repair we did. I thought they told us it was 80 to 100,000 just for the permit, just to go and, because of the,
actually
where you're
covering the
filling,
bottom,
yeah, where you're filling, you're covering the bottom. It was quite a
Sounds
process,
accurate.
yeah. Yes, Art?
Yeah, well, I remember that, because I'm not paying that one out.
Yep.
I remember filling it, but the question I had was, are they considering the condition of the dock in this at all, or are they only considering anticipation of higher tides?
The condition of the dock as well, they said at at their presentation, yes.
Because that's not what we understood.
Okay.
We thought it was global warming or higher tides and storm damage due to
Mhm.
that. So, the harbor committee will get a report of what happens tonight, I'm
Yep.
sure. And we'll need that.
Mhm. No, my understanding was that it was the condition, the age of the different repairs, cause they had the repairs when they were done. And so they know what sections are how old, and that played into it as well, is my understanding of it.
Okay, because that wasn't what we thought, because we were planning into the future, what we can replace, what we need to
Yeah.
replace.
Mhm.
Everything, this is kind of a new, probably a good thing if we can afford it,
Mhm.
that we can just forget about all that and do it right.
I know, and that's what I was thinking, that at first I wasn't sold at all, but then if you think about, a $300,000 project here, a couple in the near future, then you just paid your chunk of what you need to, and everything would be universal, whatever the weight limit is, whatever we decide, then that would be all the way across the dock, and it would start from scratch, so.
And we never considered raising the level of the parking
Mhm.
lot, we never discussed it.
Mhm.
And, the ramp's gonna have to go a little bit higher,
Yep.
which means a little bit further inland probably, unless
Yep.
you build up the level of the ramp and
Yep.
go further out. Then there's permits with the Indians and the sunbirds and all that
Mhm.
stuff, from going out into the dredge some more, so we need to know.
Yeah. What did he say on height, Eric?
I thought they were saying 4 feet, which I thought was too much, but.
I thought he said something like 32 inch, because I remember, because I mentioned my wharf, because that's what we did. We raised the end of our dock, and I think it was the best thing we ever did. The storms don't come up through anymore. I thought he said that was 4 wasn't, that was a mark, a number, but I thought he said you could do somewheres in the 3 foot to 32 inches.
I can't remember what his actual number was, but I've been building to like 16 feet.
Yeah.
So from mean low tide.
Mhm.
So typically that's 3 feet of clearance on a big tide.
Yep,
So that's kind of the standard that I've seen.
yep.
And their standard, I'm not sure if that's, it sounded like it was similar.
Yeah,
but,
it did sound very similar.
Right in there. So
Mhm.
what it's at now, it's probably at 13.6,
Yeah.
maybe. So, yeah, 2.5, 3 feet maybe, which is, I guess you could grade that in okay, but it's gonna change a lot, like Art said, the ramp height is gonna be too steep.
Yeah.
And you can't go out, because then you're into federally dredged waters, so you can't just push the floats out.
Right.
So it does add some complications. You can always turn the ramp and go down the side of the dock and get creative that way.
But you can pull that ramp, just keep going uphill, basically the same pitch, you just keep going. You're just gonna have, it's gonna take up more of the parking lot, that's all. You're just gonna, if you come
Oh,
that
that
way.
ramp, I was talking about the float ramps.
Oh, float ramps, yes, sorry.
So, that's just another, 30 grand for the 2 ramps or
Yeah, oh,
whatever
no,
it
for
is.
sure.
So, just start thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the boat ramp floats, have to change the headers there, right?
Right.
Or do something there
Mhm.
and raise those floats up to meet the rest of it, so. There's a few other things that would have to go into raising the parking lot and
Yeah. Mhm.
raising the dock. But it would just be weird if you didn't raise the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right, right, you'd like to be driving up onto the dock,
Well,
right?
Yeah, back in trailers and stuff, you'd have to taper that out, what, 20 feet, 30 feet, howdy? Probably
Yeah,
30
at
feet
least,
at least,
at least.
so it wouldn't be
Yeah.
something to catch on. Yeah.
So should we try to get our own prices?
I'd like to see
You guys think 3.8
Eric,
is too?
I know this is not, but I would like to see Eric just take a look at it and, if you don't mind, and just think, I know it's hard to think rough numbers, but
I
just
get
see if we're in the
pretty good number.
ballpark, because at least with me, I don't think the 3 or 3.5 million, I think that's out of the ballpark for us.
If it doesn't include the parking lot stuff, yeah, absolutely, but,
Yeah,
if you-
no, the parking lot wouldn't be, that would be totally separate, but if you could just look at the dock and see what you think, just a rough idea. And I know some of it was engineered for a ridiculous amount of weight. When we met one time there, I almost think one was 100,000 pounds. It was a ton, like if we brought everything back to one level, like 60,000 or whatever or 50,000, then that would, and just do it all the way across.
yeah, crawl under there, check it out.
I know, you don't have enough going on.
Get right on it.
Yeah. It would be helpful, that's all.
Yeah, I know too, I looked at, I knew kind of the numbers that, for the repair and stuff, and I was right in there with the other people.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a pretty good idea,
yeah.
I could do something.
The other grant that they mentioned at the meeting was for a public safety building. That's one of the specific things they mentioned. And maybe that's something we should look at too.
I didn't hear.
Yeah, she mentioned
She
that.
did, yeah.
I think it'd be very, very slim choice that they would, I don't know, maybe Chester's no different, but I don't think FEMA would touch our small business.
She
Well,
seemed to
that was
think it
one of the
might
things
be
they
a thing.
specifically
So
mentioned.
it's, I mean, you just gotta skim over the list that they,
Yeah.
Oh, because the direct technical assistance, though it's offered through FEMA, will help us write any grant that's available through the federal or state government.
to get it. Okay.
So it's not FEMA funding,
Just help you,
Yeah.
help you.
they'd help, do the
Yeah.
sort
That's
of work
what
for
they would
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can we look into if there are any options for that? Definitely the wharf house into the
Yeah.
harbor master shack. Just because those are the two things that we know that we have upcoming. You never know, Mackenzie.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, like I said-
I like grants.
Yeah, I know.
Well, think on that,
Yes,
that was
sir.
one they specifically mentioned.
She
so-
did
so-
mention that, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's right. It wasn't
Yeah.
that they had one for public safety, it was they could help us
Yeah.
to get one, so hey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, we haven't used the Waff House
Mhm.
as a spindle or anything for quite a while. Is that footprint legal? I mean, after a year, wasn't something about after a year it might lapse, we could rebuild the Waff House as a house because it hadn't been used as a house for a year, the planning board
Mhm.
stuff. But we don't wanna lose that, and if FEMA's willing to use,
No,
authorize that building for whatever you call it,
And
public
I-
safety building or whatever, we'd have to get around this, and maybe they'd help us get around if we let that lapse. Because we not only get that building, we've got a well and a septic system.
and I looked into that after that last meeting, because we had discussed, I think Jesse had said 2 years, without it being used as a residence, then it can no longer be used as a residence, so we're beyond that time. But I looked back in my notes from when our wharf, and it says you had 1 year from when you tore it down to be able to rebuild. If it's more than 50% of the structure, then you had 1 year. It could be extended to 18 months, but to rebuild. So that's why I've always been leery about tearing it down until we have our ducks in a row, because a year goes by pretty quickly, and then you're not, it will be nothing but a parking lot, so.
We have recently checked with shoreline zoning. I think we're waiting for final confirmation from one of them, but we seem to be in agreement that if we're replacing it with a harbor master type facility, it can maintain the existing footprint, and there is no setback requirement from the water, so you could twist it towards the water. But we'd have to get the official answer, we have to give the DEP the plan, what we want to do.
Yeah.
But it seems like it may be okay.
I know last time we discussed a few meetings ago, I think we all agreed, just something real basic. And we don't need anything that,
Yeah.
you know, lavish, just something real basic, and if we can get a little funding with it, that would be great.
Hammond is working on a materials list.
Oh, good.
Plan for us.
Mhm. Awesome. Anything else anybody can think of on this, or? Okay, do you need any motions or anything, Jesse?
Only if you're in agreement with looking into applying for funding for Steamboat Wharf and Crockett Point, if you wanna make a motion, just so I can know to spend time looking at those.
Yeah, I make a motion to have town manager look into grants for repairing Steamboat Wharf Road and Crockett Point Road.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to have the town manager look into grants for the Steamboat Wharf stabilization and Crockett Point Road, I think it was flooding issue. Is there any discussion? You don't want anything either on, you're just gonna check with them on the potential for the other grants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
You can forward the list?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
All right, next we have wharf parking lot. I'll let you take that one, Jesse. I know we've spoke about this before.
Yes, so the abutters to the wharf parking lot, behind the wharf house and the two dirt parking lots, Norman Saunders, he's here in the back row there.
Oh, like,
They need to replace their septic system, which is down in front of their house. Their house is off of Columbia. And so the easiest way for them to gain access without disrupting their entire property going down the side of their house from Columbia would be to go through our lower dirt parking lot. They would have to remove a few of our maple trees on that side. Roger St. Amand has been assisting them with the septic design, the plans. He's probably a year or so ago now, came to the harbor committee to get their blessing on they were okay with it. And they said that they would contribute some improvement to the parking lot when they were done. Roger's been working on plans for a while now. I think seems as though they're ready to proceed, so we put on your agenda for your approval, for them to go through the lot. They're gonna have to bring in, my understanding is they're gonna bring in fill for temporary access to their lot, and then that fill will be reclaimed and used in the parking lot to maybe expand the edges slightly and improve the slope and edges and drainage. So they, the fill itself has been explained to me is about $3,000, and then an additional $3,000 worth of improvements to the parking lot itself when the project's complete. So, just looking for your approval.
Did the the harbor committee, Art, give their blessing?
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
And I wanted to say something about this. My memory's terrible, but I do remember when, I believe it was Leslie Becker, bought that place from, oh yeah, the Farleys. And the Farleys had a crappy little septic system, and Leslie wanted a better one. And, I mean, she came before us at the harbor committee, but she also came before the select board. And I don't know if it was Mellon or who it was at the time, but I went to the meeting. I didn't know that I had any axe to grind in this at all, except their neighbors, and I want to be nice to the neighbors. But the way I remember it, the town said, we're totally behind this, and we don't want you to have to incur. This is to Leslie, that she didn't have to incur any money, and true enough, Scott's, I believe it was Scott's, was able to get across there, the maple trees weren't there, or time or whatever. But the town indicated that the town was promising them the right to maintain that forevermore, and, that it would pass on to whoever buys the property. That was a promise made by the town. It surprised me a little bit that now they have to spend $3,000 to bring in fill, because there was enough fill in there before for the gas to get across, and I don't know if we bulldoze that over our septic system for the town. I don't know what happened there. But it just seems a little extreme to ask them, because the promise was made by the town that they'd always had that right. Leslie or whoever she's
Yep.
always had that. And okay, then subsequent to that, I did find I have an axe to grind, which is, then Leslie put in a well, and I had just put in a well in my house because mine went bunk. And when Leslie sunk her well, my well water turned all brown. So it was pretty clear to me that she went into the same tank that I'm in. So what does that mean? That means I want them to be able to have enough money to do a really good septic system. I'm not living in my house, or I'm living with 2 rooms to count. I've been in and out of go easy on them, so they have a total high quality system. I got an axe to grind on that.
Okay, sounds good, Art.
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Yeah.
Before I get myself in any more trouble, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
I know, I know.
We won't hear anything about the trees being cut, they're not, I don't even know which ones, but
No,
just those
I
two.
don't know.
Yeah, okay. Yep,
And I
For
have,
everyone's view.
yeah.
I have looked, Norman did reach out to me about Art's comments, and I have looked through the files, through the property files. I don't have any record of granting permission in the first time around or a perpetual, not in any of the files I can find, which I have relayed to Mr. Song.
A lot of things things were a handshake back then. I don't know how many years ago this was, but could have just been a.
I was a contractor, Jamie, and I don't know what I was talking about. I mean,
Oh, you were the contractor?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. He was a great guy, but I know, it was just a matter of, getting across there and resetting the tank. They didn't
Mhm.
really think of leach field.
Oh, okay.
She didn't spend any more money than she had to.
Yeah.
Norman, what's the timeline?
I'm hoping, sometime this fall, because it depends on getting on Danny Dunbar's schedule.
So my biggest concern is just jamming up that parking lot for fishermen, just because in the fall's super busy still.
Does it,
Whatever works for you guys.
Yeah.
We can push it out.
Well, I don't think we necessarily have to push it out, but like, how much, can everyone still park and you just need to go straight back and through? Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
So then it's only, you're only losing 2 spots,
Probably,
which is not a big
yeah,
deal.
closest to the property line might lose a couple of spots, but.
Right, but 2
And
spots
also,
is
does the
minimal.
usage taper off in October at all? Can you say, well, October 15th would be better than October 1, or is it all the way through to the end of November?
Usually probably towards the end of November
Yeah.
before it really clears up,
Yeah.
early December, so.
That's a Sternman parking lot, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, so. I mean, you could also give them temporary permission during a week or so to park down the hill.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Any of the people that have permits up there that actually do, just let them park down the hill.
Yeah. I mean, the second walk up is usually less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually like 2
Longer
hours.
walk at the end of the day, that's why, I've been walking it lately.
Yeah.
Well,
That was my only
Sounds like the
concern.
parking lot, which desperately needs improvements,
Yeah,
can be better.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
any
you.
improvements
Parking
will be,
lot's
yep.
Yep.
And maybe this will get us in the right direction. Maybe we'll start doing some more improvements to it as well. No, it's needed it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if that works for you guys, it sounds
Yeah.
very fair to me.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Sure.
Okay.
I make a motion to authorize Norman Saunders to temporarily access his lot, map 17, lot 20, for a septic replacement through the town's lower dirt parking lot at the wharf, map 17, lot 24, in exchange for $6,000 worth of improvements to the lower dirt parking lot at the completion of the construction.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to authorize Norman Saunders to temporarily access his lot, map 17, lot 20, for a septic replacement through the town's lower dirt parking lot at the wharf, which is map 17, lot 24, in exchange for $6,000 worth of improvements to the lower dirt parking lot at the completion of the construction. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate your understanding.
We'll work with you on the schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The contractor and yourselves, we can decide what's best.
Oh.
Yeah, just plan it for when you're planning it for now, and when we get a little closer, we need to look at it, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
I think we'll make it work.
There's enough room later in the year, so I think
Yeah.
Sternman can park down there. All right, next we have the Carter Road. Jesse, I guess I'll just let you explain what,
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty basic, but.
Yep, so, I received a request from one of the residents that lives on Carter Road. He was inquiring, if the town would be ever at all interested in discontinuing the town road, that is Carter Road, turning it over into a private road that they would then maintain themselves. Doing just a little background research on it for you, it was established as a town road in 1861 at the request of 7 residents, at a town meeting. I can't tell you what the standards were for accepting town roads, in 1861. Our tax records indicate there are 2 dwellings located off of Carter Road, and to my knowledge, they're seasonal dwellings. Carter Road is 2,270 feet. It is a dirt road. It's our fourth longest road with the exception of the Cape Road. Turner, which is in the vicinity, is longer, also dirt, and the other two longer ones are paved roads. In 2023, we spent $3,100 on materials for Carter Road. That does not include any of the public works time, maintaining the road, grading, ditching. Pretty much anytime Cape Road needs grading and ditching from rain washouts, Carter Road requires the same. So, for those reasons, myself as road commissioner and the public works foreman have talked about it, and the two of us are in favor of the town discontinuing it. That's something the select board would like to send to the voters for their decision.
Does the same resident own both sides of the road?
I know, I just wanna be sure all parties are in favor of it.
You said one came to you, but the other one, you had indications the other homeowner is okay with doing this.
I haven't heard, one way or the other. I wanna say they both came up. Let's see.
It's definitely one of our higher maintenance roads.
No, they are separate. I think they used to be.
I know, I've thought about it before with Jasper's Way, because there's nothing left of that tire on that road at all. I mean, you might as well run over it with a grader, it's just nothing at all.
Yeah, so it's two separate owners. 123 Carter Road and 91 Carter Road.
There's also a residence of Stewart Head and all that beyond.
It's the same.
So the same, change ownership, doesn't not, it might not
Yeah.
always stay. They have to have a road association.
Mm-hmm.
I say if the residents are okay with it, go ahead.
Yeah.
Or put it on the warrant and see what happens.
I'd like to hear from both, everybody who lives on the road beforehand, that's all.
Yeah, maybe could you send a note
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something to both of them, just to.
Mhm.
And if there are other roads that you're thinking about, then maybe we could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Is there, so seasonal, so they're not the only one there. Any pros and cons, Keith?
I think it's a stupid idea, but I don't know. I know they're mega millionaires, but I'm sure eventually it's gonna break into a bunch of tiny little houses and then they're gonna be asking the town to take it back. That's the way I see it, but.
Well, one advantage of that, I think the standards are higher now than they were, as far as accepting it back.
Yeah, exactly. But
Might be a better road if we take it back.
I say send the other party a note and see what happens.
Yeah, I
think if
would
they both
put it
agree
on
they
the.
wanna maintain
Yeah,
it,
then, yeah.
why not?
Okay.
So do you want a motion or
No,
just send them a note and then
Yeah.
we'll?
Yeah, and then we'll regroup when we hear back from all of you.
And then again, if there are other roads, like I'm terrible with the roads, so I don't know which ones might be an option or not.
yeah,
so.
I can bring you a couple at the same time.
Okay, we good? On to the next one, which is heating oil. So, our heating oil, has been with Acadia Fuel, and once again this year, they did that rack rate plus 6 cents
Yes.
per gallon.
Yep, so on the official bid to the school, who accepts the bids, or request bids for all of us, they did the rack plus 6 cents, so they did not get it fixed. Last year, was the first year that we've done that, due to the companies not knowing what was gonna happen. Most of them wouldn't give fixed pricing last year like they normally 6. This year they did the same in the bid.
So they must have made some money.
The school went with Coastal Energy for all the schools. I called Acadia Fuel to confirm what the rack rate was currently. It was $3.19 when I talked to them last week. And they said, she wanted to let me know that John wanted to let me know they would meet the fixed rate, match the fixed rate from Coastal at 308. So if you wanted to go with Acadia, you could choose fixed at 308 or rack plus 60. Or you can go one of the other vendors.
From what I've heard, and a few people I know in the fuel business, I would do the 308 fixed, if he's willing to do that, because I don't think it's gonna be going down from here on out through the winter. I think
I
if the
agree.
rack rate's 319 right now, I would.
So go with Coastal Energy?
Or no, John is willing to do the same thing to match it.
But I have a question about that. Do you think that that's fair? I mean, he
I was-
didn't
I
give
was-
you, it's like you opened up the bids and
No,
now I
yeah,
can do
that's-
better than you.
yeah.
I should have, given you my best price to begin with, you know what I mean? Am I?
I'm
Yeah,
kind of there
I
with
get
you.
it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cheating a little bit, or, I don't know, but.
And these went out to bid, so we have to follow the bid,
The school went out to bid.
but we didn't go out.
We
as a
don't
town.
have to do what the school does.
Okay,
I mean, we can do our own thing, but.
I'm just making sure we don't go against our own policy as far
Yeah,
as
yeah,
bidding
yeah,
policy.
yeah.
But if the school
I
did.
think it's
I'd
pretty
be like-
gray there.
Oh, well, yeah.
But you can't open a bid and I'd be like, oh, I have a better price now.
Yeah, no.
Let me give you this now. I don't think that that's super fair, but
I get you.
that's just me.
I was just thinking the school versus the town, two separate, but we also they give us our numbers most of the time, so, yeah, I don't.
Right, we give the school that we need $3,000, and they include it in their bid. We don't have to, as you said, we can, all the towns.
We can do
accept their
something,
own,
yeah.
but they are included when those companies submit their
Yeah,
bids.
I'm kind of uncomfortable with that too.
I just feel that's
I
a
mean,
little,
no problem doing business with them, but I just.
sure. And you like to, I like them, but I feel like that's a little bit, I don't know. You should have come to me with your best price to begin with if you wanted to win the bid. That's just me though.
No, I get it.
I know, and I think that 308 is gonna be, that's an awesome price, just, I know that Jamie that has offshore fuel, and he said it's going up all the time now, so it will be. I don't think that rack rate's gonna go down from 319 anytime soon.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it.
It's usually about as cheap right now as it gets during the year.
Yeah. What do you guys think down the end?
I like the 308 fixed as on paper.
I just wish John would've wrote it down on his initial,
Yeah.
and then, cause we've used them for years, so,
I know, I hate to switch,
yeah.
but it's, like Mackenzie said, it's a little shady to
Yeah.
Yeah.
come swinging in after it, and if, shady for us to.
Yes, yeah,
To
to,
Yeah,
accept that.
I'd be real uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
just doing it that way.
I mean,
You should have told us that first.
Right, from,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, then I would have been like, great.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion then. I'll make a motion to award the 2023 through 2024 heating oil contract to Coastal Energy at a cost of $3.08 a gallon.
Second.
I'm gonna moved and seconded to award the 2023-2024 heating oil contract to Coastal Energy at a cost of $3.08 per gallon at a fixed rate. Is there any discussion? Okay. Go ahead, Zach.
We ran into the problem with the fire department that when the town switched out before, that they came and pulled it on all of our propane tanks too, so I don't know if you wanna stay with them.
Propane's excluded.
In the propane.
Okay.
But last time he came and yanked all our propane tanks too, because, I don't know, just for whatever reason.
Oh, you mean just in general?
Because he thought he
Yeah.
lost the contract, but I
Yeah.
would say you're still staying with whoever, but, yeah, we found out the hard way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What in the town has propane besides the fire station?
Generator,
Yep.
and harbor master.
Okay. So yeah, we should probably make that clear. Leave that alone.
Maybe a, follow-up call would probably be good, Jesse, from you, just to explain that we would love to have them do it. We have no issues or complaints with their service or anything else, but,
Bid's a bid.
the fixed rate, and we were uncomfortable entertaining something different after. So that sounds good with everybody, just so we
No,
understand.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep. All right, all those in favor? Next, we have surplus property. We have some piling ends that are,
Yes, so there's a stack of piling ends that were left over from the wharf construction project there in that lower lot that we just talked about, in the back corner there. And several times, we've been asked if we'd sell them, you know, somebody have them, buy them, whatever. And so we were just asked again if we would sell them. And we need them moved anyway, so asking for your official, if you wanna keep them, we'll have Public Works move them. But if you wanna sell them, people are interested in buying them.
How long are they, just on average?
They vary in length.
Yeah.
There's
The only
like
thing
4 foot, I think, and then some longer.
They're not full length.
You know,
I mean, there's nothing, that's
No
what, there's
20
nothing we'd be able to
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
Yeah.
on rebuilding the dock.
And how long have they been sitting there?
Since the last dock repair, they're the cutoffs.
So a while.
Okay.
they're not
So-
worth anything out of there.
The new piling's worth $20 a foot, so you can take that and
Yep.
do whatever you want with it.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
if
as
they- if
far
they're
as-
not
if
long
you-
enough to,
Right, no, for us, no.
yeah.
They're not long enough to
I
do
don't
anything
think so.
with.
I think the longest one's like 15, 20 feet, which you might be able to use a couple that are 20 maybe, but is it really worth sitting on? Probably not.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was wondering, solid.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the sale of surplus property as proposed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the sale of surplus property as proposed. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have tax collector. We need to free Katie of all of her tax collection responsibilities.
Yes, so, as you see in my memo, each year the town assessor commits the taxes to the tax collector, who keeps the accounting of all taxes paid. If the tax collector leaves office before all taxes for that year are collected, the select board customarily settles up with the collector and discharges him or her from any further responsibility to collect those taxes, and the town assessor will then recommit the taxes to the new tax collector. So I printed them out at the close of business today. They were handouts in front of you. So there are 4 tax years that were committed to Katie Vanderand as tax collector, and then this current tax year that was committed to me as tax collector. So I'm requesting that you pass a motion to sign settlements and discharges with Katie and myself for those tax years, and they will be recommitted to Sarah by the assessor.
Put another thing on your plate, Sarah.
You're gonna go and look for almost $4 million, you good with that?
Yeah.
We'll have to be.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to sign the settlements and discharges with tax collector Katie Dandrin for the tax years 2021, 22, and 23, and to sign the settlement and discharge with tax collector Jesse Dunbar for tax year 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the settlements and discharges with tax collector Katie Danduran for the tax years of 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, and to sign the settlement and discharge with tax collector Jesse Dunbar for the tax year of 2024. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. We made it through it. Next, we have town manager's report.
All right. projects of interest over the last couple of weeks. I conducted a monthly tax collection review. I met with Noel and James regarding the short-term rental ordinance. Hired the new town clerk. I had a meeting with Andy Klein at the ambulance service. Submitted our annual, local road assistance, funding certification to the state. I had a meeting with Misha at Maine Coast Heritage. Attended meetings, here with FEMA, the day of your meeting. Ordered the radar, speed radar sign for Harbor Drive. Went over the tax settlement process with Katie and with the assessor. I had a meeting with Justin, regarding the harbor master job. Accepted, Elon's resignation as harbor master, deputy harbor master. I attended a meeting in Bar Harbor on LD 2003, which is the law the state passed regarding, allowing more dwelling units, per lot, and accessory dwelling units per lot. Looking at, Bar Harbor invited people from the state and all the towns on the islands to come to Bylaw and listen to the state on how we may or may not have to update our ordinances to comply with that new state law, by next July. I believe we have one small change that we're required to make in the ordinance, and then we'll probably have discussions on if we want to change any other aspects related to the law. But it looks like just one is required to change. I prepared the broadband committee agenda and attended the broadband committee meeting, and prepared the harbor committee financials and worked on meeting prep for tonight's meeting. Office staff, conducted the BNB reports. Katie was here training, Sarah before she left. They conducted the BNB inventory. They have switched over all of the logins and certifications and everything for, Bureau of Vehicles, Moses, vital records, elections. Sarah has been appointed the municipal agent by, Bureau of Vehicles, and, everything's been smooth and transition in the state so far. Public Works, was busy putting the new radar sign trailer together, so they can move the mobile radar sign. Washing equipment, garbage removal, replaced mud flap on truck 3, helped remove stumps at the community building, with Bob. Helped the harbor master move tables for the library. Book sale, ditching on Cape Road, trimming, library and Eldring Coast, cutting shoulders and ditching on Cape Road and Turner. Replaced a 25-mile-an-hour sign we got knocked over on Lighthouse Road. Replaced the tires on trucks 3 and 9. Checked out some complaints with the DOT on Tremont Road and one of ours on Flatiron Road. Mowing cemeteries, the town office, the trail, put the new fuel tank in the back of truck 6. They started moving some of the old cement or granite blockings from what they refer to as the dump over here to out back of the salt shed. Did some repairs to the battery box on the John Deere, and we're digging the holes and installing the sign poles for the flashing radar signs over at the school zone. Harbor Master, had some coordination with DOTS regarding, trash dumping at both the wharf and Silco. Issued a warning to a wharf user about lowering bait barrels on the electric hoist. Was working on getting estimates on the 4th hoist and the well at Silco. Library tables delivered with Public Works. Replaced a faceboard on the ferry terminal. Worked on a skiff that was recovered by a resident in Seal Cove, trying to track down the owners. And he was handing out wharf renewal permits and installed a new gas tank on the harbor master boat. And over the next few weeks, I am working on hiring harbor master and CEO. Have been receiving applications for both.
you gonna put together a hiring committee again, or are you just gonna fold this one all up
Yes, of
yourself?
course.
All right, suggestions for the next meeting? Date of the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, September 18th, 2023.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, September 18th, 2023, 5 PM at the town office. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Next, we have an executive session titled Personnel Matters.
Eric?
No.
You good?
I'll make a motion to find that the public discussion of these personnel matters could be reasonably expected to cause damage to the employee's reputation and or to violate the employee's privacy rights, and therefore to go into executive session to discuss the employment, appointment, assignment, duties, promotion, demotion, compensation, evaluation, disciplining, resignation, and or dismissal of an individual or group of public officials, appointees, or employees as permitted by 1 MRSA 4056A.
Second. Been moved and seconded to go into executive session titled Personnel Matters as read by Mackenzie. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Maybe it's cool by some by now.
Yeah, I hope so.
You
All
all
right,
set?
we are out of executive session at 6:31.
I make a motion to allow Katie Danduran to split her remaining sick time, or gift her remaining sick time evenly split between B.D. Grinnell and Jan Sprague, and to allow Elon Zobre, is that how it's pronounced? Zobre, to give his remaining sick time between all eligible employees.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to allow Elon Zumbre to evenly distribute his sick leave time between all eligible employees, and to allow Katie Danduran to split her time evenly, her sick leave time evenly between B.D. Grinnell and Jan Sprague. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Howdy. Yeah.